From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
American Door Company has been family-owned and operated for over 29 years, supplying Northern California with quality garage doors, garage door openers, and installed with the best service you'd expect from a locally owned company. We serve all of Northern California from Willows all the way up to the Oregon state line. Give us a call today.
Well, looks like we're seeing that bit of a break from the wet weather here for today for everyone. The North Coast, the inland areas, the mountains, the valley, all seeing that break here for today and the rest of the day. But by tomorrow, that's going to change. We're looking at more wet weather. We're looking at snow eventually in the forecast and could be looking at the potential for some more flooding, especially for the North Coast, because of an already saturated ground, and the heavy rainfall that's anticipated could create a few more problems out there. But snow levels will drop from basically tomorrow to Thursday, so fairly high snow levels to start off, but then they'll get much lower, and that could create some more problems for those mountain highways. But after Thursday, it'll be mainly dry going through the weekend, with the exception of Saturday. Saturday could get a little interesting, but not a big deal. So here's the big picture. You see the atmospheric river that is aimed right at the Pacific Northwest to our north. This is all shifting southward and will be moving through over the next 24 hours. And that's when we got the wet weather in the forecast. Behind it is some cold air, and that's where those snow levels will begin to drop. Okay, so let's take a look at Futurecast, walk you through the timing. There's a lot to get into here, so let's take you right through it. Of course, today you're looking at mainly sunny skies, although we've seen some of those clouds here this afternoon and will continue to. But of course, the rain's still off to our north and west. It pushes through by tomorrow morning for the North Coast, 5 a.m. Heavy rainfall at times. This is when we start getting concerned about some of that flooding. We'll get into that here in a second. But there you can see by around the mid-morning hours, it's now pushing through the valley, and now we're seeing some of that rain as well. By the way, as it's pushing through these areas, we can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm for the coast, for the inland areas, and not to mention the valley. But notice, you see the darker blue here, that's heavy snow. However, that's heavy snow above 6,000 or 7,000 feet. So at this point, the main concern on the mountain highways will just be wet roads. And of course, we've also got to watch for that potential for some mudslides and debris flows as those heavy downpours come through. Here's 1 p.m. tomorrow. Now it's pushing off to the east. Once again, heavy snow, but high elevations. And as you start getting into Sierra, boy, you're going to have to go above 7,000, 8,000 feet before you start seeing some of that heavier snow. But look at this. You see this? This right here is an indication now of some of the colder and unstable air moving in, and this could bring with it potential for some thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, even for the valley as well. Some of that heavier snowfall now off to the east here. Again, fairly high elevations. Now, we're going to take you into Wednesday about 8 p.m. Still some scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. Snow levels are starting to drop. So from 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 feet, now down to about 4,000 or 5,000 feet. Okay, now we're going to take you into Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Now, we've got another disturbance that'll be passing through. So with the colder air in place, now we're lowering those snow levels. But I think Hayfork, Weaverville, still mainly in the form of rain. Okay, we could possibly, through the day on Thursday, see the potential of a rain-snow mix, but I'm not expecting it to stick to the ground if we do eventually see some of those snowflakes there. But heavy rainfall again for your Thursday. This is when we're still concerned about some of that flooding. Now we take into the mid-morning hours. Now it's pushing through the valley. Could see some gusty south winds, maybe a bit of a training effect right here. You know, you see those converging winds that can create that and produce a lot of rainfall in a short period of time. So we'll have to kind of watch that. Look at all the snow we're seeing though. So Mount Shasta City, yeah, maybe some accumulating snow, not to mention El Turris, Bernie, Shingletown could be looking at some of that snow as well. Chester and Susanville, but as I mentioned, Hayfork and Weaverville, mainly in the form of rain. Now we're going to take you to about 2 p.m., still seeing the snow flurries in those lower elevations I just mentioned. Still a chance for some of those thunderstorms developing and off to the west as well. Now we take you to Thursday night. Things are starting to kind of taper off a bit. Still some snow flurries out there in the higher elevations. And then, of course, as you head south, it's drying out and should stay dry as we go into Friday. I wanted to show you this. This is coming in from the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma. They put these out a few times a day. The severe outlook for tomorrow is indicating here's the best chance for thunderstorms as we go into tomorrow. But honestly, I think we can see some to the south and not to mention maybe even to the east. Now, here's where I disagree with the Storm Prediction Center. Thursday, not showing any potential for thunderstorms for us at all. I think the instability is going to be there, and we could see some thunderstorms developing here through the afternoon. So we'll have to kind of wait and see if the SPC kind of comes on board with that. But as it stands right now, I'm calling for that chance for thunderstorms even on Thursday. Here's a look at those forecast rainfall totals, and yeah, we're starting to see more and more rainfall for the valley. Could see upwards of an inch or more, excuse me, a half an inch or more for the valley. Yeah, some of us could see upwards of an inch, but there you can see about an inch in upwards of 3.5 to maybe close to 4 inches, especially in Del Norte County. So you can see why we're concerned about some of that flooding. And as I mentioned, mudslides and debris flows are something we're going to have to monitor very closely as well. Now, this is going to be kind of a rain, snow, kind of equivalency of the snow and as you melt it down. But yeah, we're seeing a chance for rain for everyone, at least some measurable precipitation. There's that flood alert. We have a flood watch for tonight through Wednesday night. Quite honestly, I think that's going to be reissued for Thursday as well as that next disturbance pushes on through. Forecast snow totals. You may recall yesterday I posted on social media some of those snow totals, and they were a lot higher than what we're seeing here. This is going to be a more accurate representation, I think, because we are looking at more of a short-range forecast model. They tend to be a lot more accurate. So this is why we could be looking at upwards of 2 to 4 inches of snow in Mount Shasta City. We're not talking about the mountain there. We're talking about Mount Shasta City. Of course, the mountain will see a lot more than that. Chester, 2 to 4 inches. But this is great news, because as you start getting into where the ski park is, you could be looking at a foot of new snow, or maybe more. We'll see, right? But there you can see no accumulation being recorded or forecasted for Weaverville Hayfork, and for good reason, because I think it's going to be in the form of mainly rain. Again, short periods of time, especially on Thursday, maybe a rain-snow mix. You can see we're seeing less in the way of snow, though, as you head off to the north and to the east. All right, take a look at those total snow impacts. And where you see the yellows and oranges is where we had the best impact. So here's Highway 3. You can see not a lot of snow there, but we could certainly have that impact. I think bottom line is this. If you're heading west on I-5, west of I-5 on Highway 299 and 36, you may run into a few minor problems. Most of the problems will be east of I-5 on some of the higher mountain passes, say around 4,000 feet and higher, maybe even locally lower. And then, of course, I think even on I-5, there may be some minor problems there as you get towards Mount Shasta City, some of those lower passes on I-5, and then, of course, Cedar Pass. Of course, you're looking at some of those chain requirements most likely. So let's talk about some of the winter weather driving tips. Check the roadway conditions often. If you are going to be traveling starting tomorrow through Thursday, you need to check those frequently. Here's a look at your forecast here, and as we take a long range now, we're drying things out on Friday. We're going to dry things out for your Saturday as well, but look at Saturday. We're seeing a weak system pass through. This could bring a slight chance for a few showers off to the north and to the west. I'm keeping that slight chance for most of us, especially for Saturday evening. But then it looks like, minus maybe another little wrinkle on Monday of next week, looking fairly dry here as we go through the weekend, and not to mention early next week. Your wave heights are fairly high out there for today. They are expected to subside as we take you into Wednesday afternoon. Let's talk about the beach hazard statement that is along the coast. Sneaker waves. Yes, you know those sneaker waves. Basically, the ocean, the waters may look calm, then you get a big rush of unexpected water that can be dangerous and sweep you off your feet if you're in the water. So just be aware of that. Not a good idea to turn your back to the ocean. There's also a high surf advisory. Not good to be out on the water here. That's from 4 p.m. tonight through 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. All right, here's what it looks like today. We've got the clouds out there, but otherwise dry. Temperatures mid-60s are what I'm expecting this afternoon for the valley. For the mountains, in the 40s and 50s, although places like inland in Trinity County, more like the low 60s, and some low to mid 60s out along the coast. All right, so let's take a look at your 7-day outlook. Snow levels starting up high, 5,000 to 6,000 feet on Wednesday. Then we're down to 3,000 feet locally in some areas like Mount Shasta City, for example. Then snow levels a bit higher for that system, possibly moving through on Saturday. We'll certainly keep a close eye on that. Let's take a look at your 7-day outlook for the valley. And of course, you've got the rain showers. I have included the showers on Thursday. Now I mentioned the chance for thunderstorms. I don't have them here on the 7-day forecast, but do bear in mind, and don't be surprised if you hear a few rumbles of thunder out there, both tomorrow and especially on Thursday. Could see some frost, especially for Friday morning, if we get enough clearing Could make for a very frosty start, and then there you can see maybe a chance for some evening showers or overnight showers on Saturday, but there's a very good chance later this evening or in my evening update or tomorrow, I may be taking that out of the forecast. We'll see, and that'll also be the case for the coast, by the way, although the coast will see the better chances at this point on Saturday. You've got the rain Wednesday, Thursday will be heavy at times for the coast, inland areas as well, and not to mention even Weaverville and out towards the Trinity County in general, but it looks like for the second half of the weekend in particular into early next week, we should be looking at dry conditions.